Welcome everybody to this exciting season finale of Geek Boots Military Nerds. Um, this
Finale.
season finale is the road to Star Wars before we take the holiday break and then come back next year. Here at Geek Boots, we like to tell you all about the big green weenie and how it likes to continue to fuck us, just like George Lucas selling Star Wars and then getting screwed over.
Suck a fucking dick, motherfucker. Suck a fucking dick.
Motherfucker!
Suck a fucking dick, motherfucker. Suck a fucking dick.
Motherfucker!
Yeah,
Wait,
I went
I don't
there.
think George was screwed over at all.
So,
He got his nut.
to be fair, the reason why
To
I
be
say
fair.
that- the reason why I say that is it's like, yeah, by contract and whatnot, everything happened the way it should. That's how the contract should happen. But he got screwed over in the sense that he had hopes for certain elements of Star Wars, and they said to his face verbally, "Oh yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll do those things," and then basically looked over and they went, "Yeah, we're not doing any of that." So.
Well, if you
But
want
it is
to
what it
keep
is.
things how you want them, then you cannot.
Relinquish control, creative control of them.
Exactly. Because
Especially
during
not to
production,
Disney.
right?
Not to Bob Iger.
I mean, during production, things change anyways, and if he has no control over it, then he has no control over it.
It needs to stop doing that. I was gonna do something really cool, because it's the Star Wars season, and I was gonna turn on my lightsaber for the sound effects, but the batteries are being an asshole. So let's see if this even works. Yeah, I'm happy with my lightsaber. So she brings up the Death Star.
This is
wait,
actually the star
there's
for the
more.
top of my tree.
Oh, all right, that's what's up.
It's not
Ah.
Thanksgiving. You can't put Christmas decorations up.
I pulled it
Why
out
do you
of
even
my.
have that out?
I pulled it out of the Christmas episode.
All right.
To pretend I
That
heard
is sacrilegious.
Oh, screw you all.
Oh, like Christmas is a religious holiday
approve.
anyway.
I approve. You don't have to screw me. I mean, if you want to, you have to ask
This is a-
permission from Ruby Echo first, and I'm pretty sure she'll say no, and then you'll probably just go after her. But that's not the point. The point is, don't swear
Because
at
she's in
me.
swing doesn't mean that she does swing.
So she poses.
I don't know how to work this.
I do know
That's
how
what
to
she
work
said.
this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in through only audio, J4 does have a lightsaber, but he doesn't know how to turn it on. So you should probably head over to YouTube and watch him stare at it. And
The sad thing is it's not like one of the, like y'all's fancy ones. It's my son's, who's 5.
Then get him to show you how to operate it.
right.
That's why
Like
I was
the-
in the Christmas stuff, is because I had lightsabers for the Christmas tree.
Mhm.
Like really cheap, like $4 lightsabers for the Christmas tree, and that's what I was going to do. And I could not find them, but I found a Death Star, so...
I was
that'll
gonna
work.
say, you can be like any good Air Force NCO and go ask a 5-year-old how to turn on the equipment.
Sorry, that is
Hey,
Air Force in
that
kindergarten.
ended up being Star Wars laugh. So anyway,
how do you think I train my airmen?
Bring your
YouTube.
5-year-old in?
5-year-old?
YouTube. Nice.
YouTube, yes.
YouTube.
Pause while everyone looks at their phones.
Right?
I'm not. I'm
got
looking at my
questions
son's
on
phone.
my phone, so I've got the quote unquote script for tonight's episode. So
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So the questions and all that, and then
I guess I should pull it up too.
Yep. And now we're posing for Cosplay Genemies selfie for for story mode. You
You're a
missed
little
it.
there. Yeah, I missed
You
it.
missed it.
I can't
So,
see you anyways.
So yeah, so we're doing these episodes in trilogies, each trilogy. So we're gonna start off with chronological order of the way the films came out, which is simply put, we're going to do the original trilogy this episode, and then next episode we're going to do the preludes, and then finally end this month with the sequels. So hopefully everyone tunes in and enjoys our, information and from the military perspective on Star Wars, because that's what we do. So yeah, I'm excited. In terms of the original series, favorite memory, I would have to go with the simple notion of my dad took me without telling me to the Phantom Menace in theaters when I was a kid, and then when I was absolutely in love with the movie, we went home and he put the VHS tapes into the TV so we could watch the original series. So my favorite pastime of watching the original series is knowing that I'm old enough to say I watched them on VHS, and maybe some of our listeners will be like, what the fuck is VHS? So, with that being said, we now will turn it to Single Dad. Favorite memory of the original trilogy?
Favorite memory of the original trilogy, it's kind of a toss-up. I actually went to go see the first Star Wars movie that I saw in theaters was actually Return of the Jedi, and I saw it when it came out. I was actually born the year that Star Wars came out in theaters, but I went and saw it with my grandfather, and since then it's just been a downward spiral. And then tied with that is one time at summer camp, it was raining and we had a movie night, and they pulled out literally like the 2-disc laser disc. The laser disc, not CD, laser disc of Star Wars: A New Hope. Like the original, Han shot first, you name it, everything, unedited, just perfection. Movie glory. So those are my two favorite memories of Star Wars, of the original.
We swing it on over to Cosplay Jenemy. Your favorite memory of the original trilogy?
I like how you said swing it over. Okay, my favorite memory, I've actually said on this podcast before a long time ago, but I will, is actually the fact that I hated Star Wars when it first came out. And so my first actual introduction to Star Wars was actually Spaceballs.
I mean, if you're going to have an introduction, I support that introduction to Star Wars, personally. That's awesome.
I'll allow it.
My brother.
See, your Schwartz is as big as mine.
My brothers loved it, and they were always trying to watch it, and I was like, this is dumb. And then finally, I don't remember how old I was, but I finally sat down and watched Spaceballs. They're like, you'll love it, it's funny. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like comedies. And then after I get done and I love it, they're like, it's Star Wars!
Did you like Blazing Saddles? You're going to love this one.
I really appreciated him walking into the room and then going right up to the camera. Slips him like, can't breathe in this thing.
And then hitting him in the head.
Oh yeah, hit him in the head. That was great too. Or
That's
spitting
Mr.
out
Coffee.
the coffee. Yeah, spitting out the coffee. Hot, too hot. What is that, Mr. Coffee, sir? I do that. Everyone knows I like coffee before I watch Radar.
Where's Mr.
And
Radar?
they all grab their groins. Sir, yes, sir. I do it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes.
Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big?
Gives it a good scratch before they teleport him back. Back to original Star Wars.
Sorry.
The point of this episode.
Well, I mean, it ties in-ish.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
We're allowed to segue.
I'm on.
Yeah, we're allowed to swing around.
Ba-dum-bum.
So I don't actually remember when I actually watched them though. But yeah, those the fact that I hated it is probably my favorite memory, which is sad, I know, but once I grew up and then I realized how awesome they were, it was much better. But I still find it humorous that I loved Spaceballs and would watch Star Wars for years.
That has to be the most interesting thing to say to like a huge Star Wars fanatic when they go, "Do you like Star Wars?" And you're like, "No," and they're about to get triggered, and you go, "I like Spaceballs," and then they go, "Do I continue being triggered or do I support your decision?" Like, wait a minute.
I'm so confused.
Right?
Well, you
I'm
know,
conflicted.
that's me in a nutshell right there.
Yep.
So conflicted.
J4 props. It is now your turn, good sir. Favorite memory of the original trilogy?
So, I think I have necessarily a favorite moment or memory from Star Wars, the original trilogy, because like it wasn't a big deal growing up for my family. Like my parents weren't really into it. Hey, Bethy.
Oh, look,
And then
you're stealing Russ's spotlight by having kids on your show. Hi! Even though you can't hear me.
as their mom comes to usher them out. But yeah,
You should not be listening to this.
Oh, that's why these are on and I'm in here.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah.
Playing Pro Force.
Yeah, it just wasn't that big of a thing in my family. My parents weren't really into it. Like the first time I watched any of them was watching the constant reruns of A New Hope on TBS back when it was like before it was when it was like TNT or whatever.
Before they started playing Shawshank Redemption on repeat.
Yeah. And shoot, I think I've only watched. Hey, Sunshine. I think I've only watched like Empire Strikes Back a handful of times. And some crazy person decided that we needed kazoos.
It's just good background music.
As long as he does the Star Wars theme song with the kazoo, I'm okay with it. Okay, continue.
But yeah,
no good memories.
Yeah, well, no, it's just all neutral. Like I've never really been that big a fan of Star Wars, but like I like it. It's good.
Fuck off this podcast.
It's not.
I'm just kidding.
And now he's been
I
evicted.
love you. Please don't leave me.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
It's good, but like I don't know.
No, it's good to always have a neutral party.
It is. That's why we usually have you on the show for, but now it's switched. As long as it's between the Air Force, I think we're fine.
Did you just call the Air Force switches?
Yes.
Wait, what?
I don't know how
Never
I feel about
mind.
this. I don't know how I feel about
Never
this.
mind. Everybody else who's watching the podcast is going, and then everybody in it is like, what? I'm like,
moving on.
please move on.
I'm gonna sit here and drink this.
I wish I could have some of that now at this moment in time.
That.
Okay, and then all-time favorite character of the original trilogy. I was obviously growing up. I was obviously a huge fan of Luke Skywalker because you know, as a kid, that was the protagonist, obviously the big one. So I really enjoyed Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Surprise.
No. Especially his all tanned outfit in The Empire Strikes Back. That was a good one. Yep. So that, as I push things over, moving my hands around everywhere.
The which one? Never.
The Empire Strikes Back, the all tan one after he landed on Calrissian's
Cloud City.
Giant Cloud City. Yeah.
Best
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
Yes. What?
Sorry, I'm a nerd.
No.
Speaking of being a nerd, Single Dad, it's your turn.
Nerd us up.
Yeah.
Get
Han
ready.
Solo.
No.
Fred.
Great smuggler though. Easy capture. No. I hold on.
Darth Vader.
I'm pretty sure that's all I need to say.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he didn't hear what I said. But if he tunes
That's
in,
fine.
he has to skim to about 15 minutes, and then he'll hear what
Oh no, I'll go back. I'll listen to it. Don't you worry. But yeah, no. Favorite character has always been the Fett. I have what is known as a Boba fetish. I'm proud to say that. I don't have that many tattoos, but I do have a large Mandalorian tattoo on my shoulder. The character has intrigued me since the holiday special came out, and like they started going into his background and everything like that. And then with the cartoons, and they expanded his character and brought him in as a kid in the prequels. Yes, I have actually. I've got a whole shelf dedicated to just Boba Fett.
He has a very large car decal on his back window, so in the event you need to find his car in a large parking lot, that's how you find it.
Yeah, you look for the mythosaur. But yes, I've got shelves dedicated to Boba Fett. Just strictly Boba Fett artwork and everything like that. So I don't think I can go to a con without picking something up that isn't the Fett Man. So.
Fair enough. Sweet deal. And now swinging on over to Cosplay Genemy. Favorite character? Nope, it will never get old.
Never getting old.
Just like swinging around.
Just like.
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. What?
I am gonna have to go with Princess Leia.
What a surprise!
Good choice.
When do I not go with one of my girl characters? Other than when Spider-Man's included.
I was gonna say, I mean, Spider-Man.
Yes, because, well, she's badass
Just-
princess.
I was gonna say, just say it. Strong, independent female role. Just go for it. Just fucking say it. Get it out there.
I mean, she was originally kind of casted as the... Sorry, there's a dog under my swing. I suddenly stopped.
No, don't stop swinging. It's your thing.
Well, I couldn't. I was like, why am I not moving? And there was a dog went underneath my swing.
That is adorable.
Anyway, as you were saying about...
If you
Princess
couldn't tell, my son is gonna keep bringing over different Boba Fett trinkets. I apologize in advance.
Keep coming in.
This will continue
What?
all episode, just letting you know.
Random pop quiz for all the fans who listen to our show. What does... I don't know, words. What's been shown on the podcast field, Russ's camera? How many things
write
have
them
been
all
shown?
down
How many?
in order. Write them all down in order, and you get
And then
shout outs. Free shout outs.
Yeah, and then we're gonna screw you over because the questions are gonna be randomized.
Words.
What was the 16th thing? Shit.
Words.
The 12th person will answer the first time.
Yep. Again, as we were saying about Princess Leia being strong.
Oh yeah, like
female role.
well, I mean, like originally, yeah, she was kind of casted as the damsel in distress. Yes, still with badass qualities, but she was still just the token girl. But I love how they've kind of it grew and grew and grew, and she became like iconic.
Yeah, that whole like her whole scene just being after being rescued for a little bit, it just really is almost a shock and awe if you're first watching Star Wars, because you're thinking, oh, it's a damsel in distress, and then she picks up the blaster, shoots the wall. What are you doing? Well, somebody's got to get us out of here.
Exactly.
You're just like,
you're like, oh, pretty girl, come save me. Bam, what?
Yeah, pretty girl.
What
Yeah, but you know, you made out with your brother in the second movie.
They didn't know. All right.
That was the first thing that flashed through their minds, as they're told that the siblings are like,
In the third movie.
like,
I'm sure when they got the script for Return, they were like, "Wait, didn't we just make out?"
Yeah, I love that they barely even go back to that. Like after they make out in Empire Strikes Back, they barely go back to it when she rescues him and they're sitting there staring off into space and he puts his hand on her shoulder and it's just like, so I'm not going to talk about the fact that she just planted a kiss on you and you were like bragging rights against Han Solo. No,
Yep.
we're just gonna.
Nope. Yeah. All right. Got it.
J4, it is your turn now, good sir.
Favorite character?
Favorite
The
character?
original trilogy?
The original trilogy.
R2-D2.
Dude.
I fucking love you for saying that.
R2-D2. The dude he is a loyal little shit.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
He's so loyal, and he comes through. Let's be honest. His name should be Plot Convenience Move Alonger, because that's basically
that's
what he's
the
there
original
for.
name on the script. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being that makes the movie happen. That would R2-D2.
Yes.
And it was something that anyway. But yeah, he's freaking cute, man. He's so adorable.
If it weren't for this droid, none of us would be here.
Exactly. And he's so I like the way that George Lucas had it to where like R2-D2 was a snarky little thing, but you found that out through C-3PO.
Yes.
Right.
I thought that was clever. I
Like he would
love
talk
that.
shit.
Yeah. He's talking mad shit, and you know he is. But all you hear is beep boop 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 beep boop. But R2-D2.
Yeah.
Hands down.
What do you
Hero-
mean? What
hero of the-
transmission? You just played it. Smacks him on top of his head.
Exactly.
Well, he had the restrictor bolt on, so I mean, come on.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's what we'll chalk that up to. I'm just glad someone said R2-D2 because that's one of those characters that you just, unless someone says it, you don't bring them up a whole lot when discussing Star Wars. And I think it's unfortunate because let's face it,
I bring him up all the time.
if they didn't censor him, these movies would be rated R. Yeah, I had to do that one.
Legit.
Favorite droid. He's my favorite droid. Like, don't get me wrong, BB-8's pretty funny too, but
I don't know. I think
only. Yeah.
if we're gonna encompass all of Star Wars, I think my favorite droid is Leet.
okay, hold on. Who?
IG-88.
What's that? L337.
Yeah.
From,
L337. Yeah.
From Solo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did nobody else get
yes!
that they
I forgot
named
what his
the
name was.
droid Leet?
I totally forgot what his name was. No, I guess I.
Her.
Or her name was
Her,
Leet.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. It's a
Brienne of
robot.
Tarth.
I don't give a shit. It's a fucking robot.
Don't tell
Robots.
her who she is. Don't tell her who she is.
You just did. You assumed her gender. You said he.
I did. And then when he said it, I was like, oh yeah. Because I said,
Boom. Okay.
She was kind of having a thing with Lando.
It works.
Yeah. You know, out of all of the stuff that was happening with Solo, in terms of the controversy, because they're making Lando pansexual and blah, blah, blah. How dare they? And his response when in an interview, he goes, how can you not be pansexual with how many races that exist in Star Wars?
Right?
Right?
Like, I'm sorry, but if you're attracted to something, you're fucking attracted to it, and you don't even know what gender it is.
No. You're like, that's hot over there. Can I?
It
Yeah,
could be like
I'm not sure what it is, but I think I want to stick my D in it.
It's kind of like Peter Quill, the guy who laid down with Alaska Varian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was one time, man.
I read a meme today that was like, the attractiveness of your face is what leads you to want to put your mouth on where they pee.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. All right.
What?
So it's the same, right?
Swing it on over to the next question now.
Sorry, I'm in some kind of mood today. Don't listen
I
to
mean,
me.
you're in a swing.
It's the swing.
so-
I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
it's the swing.
It's
Oh God! All right. Favorite scene in the Star Wars original trilogy. Ooh. I may have to swing back around to me and think about it for a second.
You had all day. You're the one that came up with the questions.
I know.
Holy crap, dude.
Fuck you.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, I was literally ditto what Russ said.
Okay. Well then.
Oh, I don't eat that. I don't have a big beer tonight.
I would have to say Obi-Wan dying. I know it's a weird thing to say, but that was very impactful, and it was kind of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings in the Fellowship of the Ring, how he's there, he's mentoring, he's helping lead the way, and then he passes on only to return in a new form. And just that whole fight with Darth Vader, it really helped show you that there's a lot more to this story, especially in terms of background and what's happened before this movie, and raises a lot of questions. I, of course, really loved what they did on YouTube. I don't remember the channel or the YouTube video's name, but they had revised that fight scene with more of today's graphics and more of special effects and choreography, and they made the fight seem a little more than just what appears to be two old guys attempting to fence with really bulky lightsabers. So yeah, they were actually
it's like
around
what, scene 47 is the name of it?
something like
Because
that.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it too.
It's beautiful. What they did with that
Yes.
video is beautiful. I wish that it was like that in the original scene, but the lines are very impactful. You
Right.
know,
Well, they didn't have the technology back then. So.
oh yeah, no. It took them a while before they were able to get the lightsaber to light up and then have that glow around it. So, very inventing for its time, groundbreaking. So that was my favorite scene out of the original trilogy, because
And it's not like Obi-Wan was exactly spry.
no, because
Yeah, Sir Alec Guinness at the time.
no,
I mean,
yeah.
And he didn't even want to be in the movie. He thought it was horrible.
I mean,
it was awful, completely awful.
yeah, and just
I mean, yeah, if you look at it at the time, I mean, he was. There's so much that came out afterwards. Like on the set, he was complaining about the writing, the directing, I mean, the story itself. But he was under contract, so he did the best job that he could because he
did fantastic.
He's an actor.
No, I really appreciate. Aside from that scene alone, I really appreciate almost all of Obi-Wan's scenes in the first movie, because that guy is so sassy. It's it's insane. I fucking love him for it. Yeah, absolutely love the Obi-Wan's final scene when he's facing off against Darth Vader. Single dad.
That is kind of like the capstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the capstone moment for that whole entire movie for sure. Is your turn now, single dad, good sir?
So of all the scenes of the original trilogy that I love, and there's hardly a scene that I don't love. There's some that I'm like, okay, I understand it, pushes the story forward. There's one that was an ad-libbed scene by the actors at the time, and it has become an iconic part of movie history now. And it's in Empire when Han's being lowered down into the carbonite pit to be frozen in carbonite, and Leia screams out, "I love you," and he just looks back at her and says, "I know." He knows that's the last thing he may ever say to anyone, ever, and that's what he says. That just shows his brash cockiness, his attitude, his cavalier attitude, and everything like that. And I do believe Harrison Ford, it was perfect. It was perfectly in character. And so that just kind of wraps up the entire like notion of him being this smuggler and everything like that didn't care about anybody, anything, but he finally admitted, yeah, I love you, but I'm not going to say it. I can't tell you that. But yeah.
So keeping in mind that I just rewatched as much as I could of the original trilogy. I didn't get to do Return of the Jedi, and I was watching that, and I had to admit, I'm starting to tear up for Chewie in that scene too, because Chewie's like, he's sitting there crying, and his little animal noises is just like, no bullshit.
Yeah, and I mean, going back now that we've got the Solo standalone film.
Yep.
And you see the beginning of their relationship and how far they've come together. Yeah. And some of the things, the tribulations they've been through. Yep. So yeah.
Cosplay Genemine, it is your turn. Favorite scene of the original trilogy?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Moving on.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course.
Going with Star Wars parodies, if we're going to talk about Spaceballs, I also want to bring up something Dark Side, the Family Guy version. Holy crap! If you haven't seen that movie, but my favorite scene in that also has to do, I mean, that's the parody of Empire, when Darth Vader's going through and he's got the bounty hunter lineup and everything like that, and the chicken is Boba Fett, and then they've got Raggedy Andy there, and then our Stewie's just like, get the fuck out of my bounty hunter lineup. I just deadpans it, and I cry laughing every time I see that scene.
I love you. Fuck off.
Fuck off. Yeah.
So that's another thing. You don't have one?
I mean, probably already, because we already talked about it kind of, so it was kind of like, now I don't know what to do, because, when Leia picks up the blaster and like blasts the hole through, and like it's the first time you really get to see her, and like you're like, oh yeah, okay, let's go.
For sure. No, and I appreciate the hell out of that scene. Feel free to reiterate it. Yes, that was great. I'm sure it was very fun trying to jump through a jagged and sharp hole due to the hole that they shot through that sewer entrance in just a white dress with no underwear on. I'm sure that was fun.
Well,
Yeah,
costumes are always the most
plot armor.
Interesting.
Jay Ford, is your turn now, good sir.
Favorite scene, probably the Darth Vader redemption scene, when at the end he yeets the Emperor into the hole, or down just yeets him right over the edge.
Okay, so hold on. We have a sex swing in the fucking podcast right now, and you're not going to say swung him over the ledge into his death? That was an opportunity, good sir.
Yeah, no, I'm swinging. He literally yeet.
Yeah. He yeeted him.
He yeeted him. Yeet is actually a better word in this moment.
It is.
Throwing, hurling, tossing.
Nope.
Yeeting.
Apparently,
or yoked.
He basically went, I'm a daddy.
Yoked.
Yeah, that was him.
No, that was really good too.
It's just yoked.
It's fascinating when you're rewatching these movies after he realizes it's his son and whatnot. Even though he's got that mask on, just the way he presents himself, you can tell Anakin
you can tell by body language.
Yeah, by body language. Anakin's sitting there going, "This is my child, and I understand I'm, this Darth Lord and everything, but I want my kids back now."
But that's the thing, is like he realizes it after he understands that he's his son, and you can see he takes like the half-second pause when he's turning away, or you see a drop in the shoulder. Little things, minuscule things that most people don't even pick up on when they're watching it.
Micro expressions is the word you're looking for.
Thank you. Micro expressions. As somebody who's empathetic to others, I see these things all the time, and so when I'm watching the movies, I see this stuff, and I'm like, so I understand that pain that he feels.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good scene too, J4. I really like that scene. Now, of course, the ultimate question: your favorite out of the trilogy.
I
gotta. Right? It's really difficult.
It is 4, 5, 6.
I'm gonna go with Empire Strikes Back, personally, because it's got the groundbreaking line and moment. "No, Luke, I didn't kill your father. I am your father." Like, and just the way just to end it on that note, and you're just like, "I'm sorry, the fuck? Like, really? We're gonna leave it on this cliffhanger, motherfucker." So, but
I mean, that might have like impacted me a little bit more if I didn't already know that by the first time I watched them.
Yeah, the people who showed you Star Wars are assholes.
No, I was in the world before I watched them, so.
Right, and then I really enjoyed, just especially for its time, seeing the AT-AT walkers marching through the snow. How awesome that was! That whole entire battle scene in and of itself was amazing, especially for its time. So
yes,
and then meeting Yoda for the first time, because like thinking about it, I'm like, I feel like the reason why Yoda acted the way he did was because he didn't know who Luke was necessarily, and he wanted to be sure that this wasn't some like assassin here to kill Yoda because they think Yoda's, a Jedi Master and he's trying to protect himself. At least that's my theory behind it, but nonetheless, Yoda being a giant goofball and just rummaging through Luke's belongings is just that's hilarious. Just and then hitting R2D2.
Oh, I put your weapon, hurt you, I will not.
Hitting R2D2 with the stick to get the lamp and just bam, 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 bam. It's fucking
I'm
great.
gonna grab my beater.
I'm
some Jim Henson animation or animatronics, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Single Dad, your favorite of the three?
Easy, hands down, Empire. There, no question about it. And I keep going back to another favorite movie of mine, Clerks. And people ask me why Empire is such a great movie. And Kevin Smith said it best. And to do this, I actually pulled up the quote.
Okay.
Empire had the better ending. Luke loses his hand, finds out Vader is his father. Han is frozen and captured by Boba Fett. It ends on such a down note, just like real life. All Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets. So that's all life is a series of down endings. It's how we react to those. It's how we meet the bad news that we get on every day, and we keep moving forward. So the storytelling in Empire is wonderful. They made a misstep with Luke making out with Leia. Well, Leia making out with Luke just to prove something to Han. But aside from that, the storytelling is magnificent.
Yeah, I think what's funny is the notion of the behind the scenes of making that movie. Empire Strikes Back, as great as the storytelling was, it's fascinating to note how there was a little bit of ad lib to it as they went along, because it
wasn't a movie that was supposed to be made.
Yeah, they did
not think it was going to get past the first one, because the first one was never A New Hope until Empire came out.
Yep. They didn't know if they were gonna make them twins, and
Right.
then they also didn't know if Han Solo was gonna come back, Harrison
Right.
Ford, so they carbonated him. So yeah, there was a lot of ad-libbing to this movie, and in all honesty, it worked for this movie because again, yeah, aside from being down and everything in terms of the ending,
Pause.
it leaves you wanting more.
Right.
And now there's a
It's-
child attacking J4.
I think it's one of the
I
original.
met you.
What did he say?
He said he recognized
you.
you.
He met you.
He met you.
Aw.
He's waving at you, son.
I did a double wave.
Yay. Can you show your daddy how to work this lightsaber?
He said you remember we met at the restaurant.
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay. All right. Go, Mom.
Cosplay Genemy, it is your turn now. After I have my brain fart. Favorite of the three, and it's okay to say Spaceballs.
Or Blue Harvest. Or Blue Harvest, or something Dark Side.
Yeah, but I don't have a bond with those other ones. It's Spaceballs. Because I actually watched that when I was young.
You know what? That's 100% fine. Spaceballs is, again, like we said, I'm not sure if I should continue to be triggered or be okay with this answer.
It's Mel Brooks. I'm okay with it.
Right?
I'm just going to answer from now on the rest of the podcast. Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. I mean,
Swinging
Come on.
Spaceballs.
Swinging
swinging
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Oh boy, that'll confuse everybody. J4, what about you?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. I like it.
I'll accept it.
So by that I mean A New Hope, because when it originally came out,
When it came out,
just
it was Star Wars.
It was just Star Wars. That's 100%.
But no,
Because they had no idea if they were going to make another.
and I understand why they were. It was a huge risk. But no, I really liked it. That one's definitely my favorite of the original trilogy. It's one that I can easily watch over and over again, because it is a self-contained story, all on its
Yeah.
own.
It is.
It is.
Like Empire, yeah, it's a self-contained story-ish, but it's kind of a cliffhanger.
I mean, realistically speaking, I feel like all of them can be argued to be a self-contained story because each one of them starts with the rolling credits that bring you up to speed with what you're about to watch. So there's a time gap, and then they just thrust you into this thing, and they bring up things that have happened in the past, and yeah.
But that was such, I mean, at the time, that was such groundbreaking cinema.
Are we
It
baking?
had never, sorry,
Oh
it
my
had never
goodness.
been done before. What?
True.
Oh,
That's
I've got
horrifying.
a Joker Stormtrooper. That's my Joker Stormtrooper helmet.
Of course.
That I wear at cons.
That's horrifying.
Of course he does.
It's amazing.
Okay. So
So, here, hold
Now-
on, J4, you'll love this. So, in true Joker fashion,
Born to Kill. Oh God.
I'm mixing so many movie tropes at this point. I don't care.
Right.
It's what
Okay.
makes
So,
me-
we're gonna do a couple of things. First things first. I'm going to use the Sabak dice. There's only two colors, red and blue.
Chance dice.
Chance
Sabak
dice.
dice are different. Sabak dice
These
are
are
different.
chance
They got
dice.
six.
So we're gonna do a vote on which one we do first, Rogue One or Solo, just to add on to this episode. So
Wait, which is which?
blue will be Rogue One, or red will be Solo. Okay.
Okay.
Holy shit! It's all red. Solo
Guess
it
we're doing
is.
Solo.
I guess we're doing Solo.
You mean the one that I've only seen one time?
Solo? Did you
don't-
solo it?
Don't feel bad.
Oh.
Don't feel terrible because I only have seen it once as well.
I've only seen it once too.
It was entertaining.
I've seen it more than all of you combined.
No, I really liked it. I don't know why I've never watched it.
I'm not. No shame.
I will admit that it is not my favorite of any of the Star Wars movies of all. So
it's not because I didn't like the movie. I actually enjoyed it. I just really haven't gotten around to watching it again. I probably will watch it again soon, though, because Annie hasn't watched it yet.
fair enough. Okay, so favorite character. Chewbacca for me. I mean, it's Chewbacca. You can't go wrong. So Chewbacca. End of story. Actually, no, I changed my answer. Darth Maul. Darth Maul.
Spoiler alert. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen Solo yet, yeah, Darth Maul's in it.
Okay, time out. This is a lot like how we did the
For
road
like
to the
3 seconds.
Hold on.
That's how much
This
he
is a
loves that
lot
movie.
like Road to Endgame, how J4 expressed it. If you haven't watched the movie, catch up. It's been out for a couple of years now. I'm pretty sure everyone's watched it.
Just busting your balls.
It's only been out for a year.
No, came out in 2000.
18.
I thought it came out in
I
2007.
just looked it up.
Oh.
Face.
Oh well, it's on digital. It's not my fault you haven't taken it upon yourself to go watch it. It was out on
May
Netflix
10th,
for
May
free.
10th,
So
2018.
well, anyway, moving on. Single Dad, your favorite character in Solo.
Oh my god. Enfys Nest. My favorite character was Enfys Nest, and they set her up as the antagonist through the entire movie, just to find out that what she is doing is, and I love how they did this. She is setting up the basis for the rebellion. She is setting up the primary way of getting money, because anybody that's been in the military knows, I mean, if you're going to do anything, you have to start with money. Where these small insurrections and rebellions start in third world countries, you have to have money. In Afghanistan, it starts with opium. It starts with the poppies and everything like that, and then making that into heroin, selling that to the drug lords, yada, yada, yada. They're taking things directly from their enemy, selling them on the black market to gain money to fight their enemy. So not only are they taking power away from their enemy, they're using it against them. So Enfys Nest, I love her character and the development and everything like that, and how it leads into Solo being introduced to the rebellion, rejecting it outright.
Yeah.
And then we see him later on joining it reluctantly, without even knowing that he's joining it. And again, he resists, but ends up joining
it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cosplay Jenemy, your turn. Solo.
Solo. Han.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's mine. I don't know. There was just so much dynamic, and actually getting to kind of re-know him. Is that a word?
Yeah, getting to know more.
You get
of his
to understand
backstory.
his. Yeah, you get to understand him a lot better.
Yeah. And I just really liked seeing where he came from and understanding him a lot more. I liked his character in that one, like a lot.
Yeah.
I will admit I appreciated that we find out that the reason why through the original movies, especially the first two, where does he get so much knowledge of the Empire? Well, it turns out he used to work for them. So yeah, I appreciated that at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Han Solo, obviously the main character of the movie. Favorite.
I know. And usually I'm not the main character, but that's just one of those movies where I really like.
Unless it's Spider-Man. J4, your favorite character of Solo?
I'm gonna go with Jen on this one. I actually found this iteration of Han Solo actually interesting. I did not
like previous versions weren't.
Honestly, I thought OG Han Solo as a character, not very interesting. Very
One-dimensional?
very one-dimensional. Like,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it tropey as tropey gets. Whereas this one, he's a bumbling idiot just trying to survive and figure out, you see conflict, more conflict in him, and like in his decision making, trying to like make sure that he's taking care of himself, but he also, you could see that he's conflicted about decisions and he doesn't want to do bad by other people. He goes back and he tries to save Leet along with everybody else, and like when they stole this shit from the mine. And I found his character just a lot more interesting in this movie than in the original trilogy. I thought he was, just too one-dimensional in the original. This one, he had some substance.
I mean,
substance.
He forsakes the easy paycheck to help his friend Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even though they had just met, they'd done one job together. Obviously, there was a bond there.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally understand and get that.
All right.
Can I say one thing?
Go for it.
No.
All right.
Go for it. I'm the host. They can fuck off.
No. So when we had the original trilogy, then we had the prequels come out, then we had like the sequel starting, and then all the rumors and everything like that of all the different Star Wars stories that were coming out. We got Rogue One, we got Solo, and there was always rumor of a Boba Fett standalone film. And now we've got Disney Plus that's coming out next week.
Yay!
The Mandalorian. I think I will get that streaming service for that show alone. I really will. Just because in between
because
the Clone
you hate
Wars,
Disney so much.
Shh.
I was gonna say, I was actually gonna offer to you, if you want to just be able to log in through mine, you're more than welcome to.
I appreciate that. We can talk about that later on, but
Sure.
This is I'm so excited to have like a multi-show instead of just one standalone film, which record has shown with Rogue One, with Solo, and I'm gonna make a joke about this later. The fanboys are totally hating the standalone films. I'm glad that they're going with a streaming service show instead.
It's fun. It's funny that you say that, though, because George Lucas actually had wanted to make a TV series with Star Wars, a live-action one, for a long time, but had complained that in the time period he was making Star Wars, both prequels and the original trilogy, that making a TV show about a story like this was committing artistic suicide, essentially.
Right.
Because no one would watch it. But now it's like, fuck yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Right, because you have investment in the characters and everything like that. And it's funny because, like, I see things like this, and I saw a meme just today, and I was so giddy about it because I was like, I'm going to bring this up on the podcast. It's like, who has the best fans, Star Wars or Star Trek? And everybody's like, oh, Star Wars has the best fans. It's like, no, Star Trek doesn't bash, 6 out of the 9 major films in their franchise. It's like,
Star Trek fans don't gatekeep each other like crazy.
No, and they don't. And
I will say, even in the cosplay world, that happens a lot. I was walking around in my black robes, and people are like, oh, so you are Sith. You're Sith. You're wearing black robes. I go, no. Anakin was wearing dark-ass robes himself. Granted, they were they were wearing leather, and you know what? He was a fucking Jedi at that time too, and he was a Jedi Knight. So go fuck yourself. Yeah. And I'm like, also, and then I turn on my lightsaber because I had the gold from the Sentinels in there, and I'm like, I would lean more way towards the Jedi than the Sith. I just think the black robes look slick, so I'm gonna wear them, and it's just I have to admit, especially when you bring. I liked the prequels, and when I simply bring that up, people are like, the prequels are garbage. George Lucas is a dumbass, and I'm just like, cool. I won't talk to you then. Go fuck yourself and walk away.
Well,
like,
you're allowed to.
I get the same thing when I really like the new ones. And when I cosplayed BB-8.
I'm with Jen.
And I was cosplaying BB-8, and I walked up to the 501st table, and I had a lighter on me, and I like flicked it on.
That's awesome.
and a couple of them looked at me, and they're like, "What are you doing? Why do you have a lighter?" And I was like,
"Because I'm BB-8." Oh, God bless America.
That was like one of the most adorable scenes in the movie.
Yes, it was BB-8 giving a thumbs up.
I know, and that's kind of where I was like, what? And I was like, it's BB-8, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't watch the new movies, and I was like,
okay, okay, well please, and I'm going to get shit for this. I don't fucking care. That's because it was the 501st.
Yeah. No,
they're pretentious assholes.
They really are. And
okay,
if they're
I've
listening
never
to this
problems.
podcast, those pretend military motherfuckers wearing Stormtrooper outfits, I dare them to say something to the actual military. Fucking bring it.
Okay, a lot of
You realize that there are some military guys in the podcast, right?
Okay,
and
I know of at least one.
I know a bunch actually.
I know several.
I know several too, and you know what? They all say the same thing. They're like, they're pretentious assholes. And I like rubbing it in their face that I'm military and they're not.
I'm pretty sure the Arkansas 501st that I know, they almost all of them are military.
I know they do a good thing. They do good things, but yes, you have to meet their standards. You have to meet their criteria for
because
membership.
They put in a criteria for their membership, so I get that. That's not.
No, well, I understand that, but even then, it's like, if you're trying to get people to help, and you're trying to get people to volunteer, and you're trying to get people to,
you need to come down a little bit.
Give their time. Yeah, you need to be less exclusive, more inclusive, and please, for God's sake, stop being so gatekeeping. You're allowed to be a fan. You don't have to be a super fan. I'm sorry, I don't know the number of the droid that was in the Jawa crawler in episode 4 that C-3PO walked by.
Stop.
No, sorry, I don't.
Not you. Sorry, my dog is pushing over my computer desk here.
Okay. But yeah, no, they get to that kind of level of intensity, and I'm like, guys, it's a fandom. It's a movie.
Yes, but they didn't know why I had a lighter and I was BB-8.
Yeah, no, no, it's not that they didn't know.
It's
they
not
didn't
so much the
care.
Yeah, it's not like, as you just expressed to us, the way it had happened it wasn't so much what they said at the beginning, it was what they ended it with we don't watch the sequels.
Yeah.
As if like, fuck you for watching the sequels. That's okay. That's not okay.
It's okay to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a Star Wars fan of all the movies. You're allowed to like them. Yep. You don't have to be Scorsese bagging on the entire Marvel franchise. Sorry. No, you don't have to. There's different.
I love Jay Ford's response hearing that. Just, God, I fucking hate that.
You don't have to, and that's the thing. You can enjoy different forms of art. They're just different forms of art. They may not be your form. Let other people enjoy them. You don't have to look down on them. You don't have to make fun of them. Just, they go their way, you go yours.
Yep.
You don't have to say bad things about them.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to shift gears a little bit into something that is in our wheelhouse. It's in our namesake. I wanted to talk about this because when I was rewatching the original trilogy, I couldn't help but notice certain things, and I went, wait a minute, I thought these guys were the elite of the elite. They're kind of fucking up right now. So,
ooh, come on, let's talk about this.
We're talking about Stormtroopers being the fact that they are a military organization, and where they fuck up, when they fuck up, and if they do
all
something
the time.
right.
No, I think never.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
So I will
Ever.
I will state this. I will state this. In the first one, there's a lot of moments where I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? But I feel like once the Russ, you're gonna have to help me out on this one. The original general in charge of the Stormtroopers, who blew up with the Death Star. I don't remember his name. Once he blew up with the Death Star and Darth Vader took over, all of a sudden, all of the certain things that made my eye twitch in terms of military standard operating procedures went away. I feel like communication went up 100% instead of certain things.
There's a reason for that.
The original general sucked.
No, there's a
Darth-
reason for
Darth-
there's a reason for all of this, and there's very very.
Well,
actually,
you
there's a
take
few
over.
There's a few fan theories about this, and if you go back to the original movie in Star Wars, and subsequently known as A New Hope, even when they go see the Jawa crawler, Obi-Wan says, "Sand people hide their numbers by walking each other's footsteps." They knew it was stormtroopers, and only stormtroopers have such accuracy. After that, everybody makes fun of stormtroopers not being able to hit anything. There's a reason, and the reason is that they've been ordered not to, because it was part of the Emperor's plan. He knew that there was Force sensitives out there. He needed to find them. Once he found them, he knew that he needed to kind of guide them to coming to the dark side. So he needed them alive.
Capitalizing on that, a little more towards George Lucas's actual words. George Lucas, when creating Star Wars. Now, okay, I'm not trying to gatekeep, but I just want to express that I have respect to the artist who is creating the art and what they're trying to envision. So if they state something, I simply say, oh, okay, now I get it, and I try to abide. I'm not going to tell people what to think, or this is the way they should think. I just say, this is where I'm getting my knowledge. So hopefully I get respect out of that, right? George Lucas had stated that the Force is something that Force sensitives can use, but the Force in and of itself it's a living organism, and it does whatever it's going to do. It's a lot like Christianity with God. He's going to do what he's going to do, and everything has a plan, essentially, right? So with the Force, George Lucas tried to express that if something was happening, it was the Force balancing itself, balancing the life. So when the Sith got its revenge, the Force balanced it out by bringing in the twins, because they stated that Palpatine, Darth Sidious, the Emperor, he was smart. He knew that, sure, he can kill the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker, who was birthed out of nothing but midi-chlorians, and that's fine and dandy, but he knew if he had killed him, the Force would just bring some other character being into existence to kill him. So what does Palpatine do? And of course, I'm borderline quoting Freddie Prinze Jr. here on that video rant that he did, but the Force, he seduced it instead. He brought Anakin to him, and that's how he was able to kind of trick it a little bit. But the Force still balanced itself out and brought in the twins. Now you have 2 versus 2. So I believe through this analogy and this theory, especially considering it's coming from George Lucas's lips himself, when he was creating the world of Star Wars, I believe that the reason why the Stormtroopers couldn't hit Luke Skywalker or Leia to save their life, it was the Force. It wasn't, I mean, it could have been the Emperor making that statement. Sure, that's fine. I'm just in the belief and theory that it was just simply the Force willing its abilities, willing its power, so that they would live. Because there was a destiny, there was a path, there was fate for these 2 twins to stop Darth Sidious. That's the way I look at it. Looks like Single Dad is frozen on his end.
Yep, looks like that.
Yep, but I'm gonna roll on through. This is a scene. These are a couple of scenes that made me cringe a little bit in the original movie. scenes revolving around the Falcon and the Death Star. When they have to check the ship, they only put 2 stormtroopers up inside the Millennium Falcon. And to me, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I've been part of a couple of training scenarios where they put more than just 2 people, even in a tight ship, to check out every nook and cranny of the thing that they're investigating. And
because you've got to at least have 4.
Yeah, they move objects around. It looked like they just went in, took a quick gander, and then left going, there's no one here.
Nobody
okay,
here.
Bye. We're just going to be done now. And I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of here.
They're well trained, but not all of them want to be there.
Yeah, they could have been the privates of the unit.
They're like, we don't even want to be here, but we were told to do this. Okay, let's look. There's nothing up there. Nothing.
They were both named Carl.
Oh, the military memes. You know, it's hilarious. I actually served with someone whose first name was in fact Carl, and he'd lived up to the stereotype. So, shut the fuck up, Carl. Shut the fuck up, Carl. The Chewbacca Trojan horse. So, first of all, clearing the transfer. I mean, that was a good comment, but I feel like it should have been. I felt like it would have been handled better and a lot more quickly than the way it happened. Especially if you're walking around. I feel like if you're walking around with Chewbacca and someone of high rank, even in Stormtrooper status, sees you and should have stopped them. Hey, I don't think there's any orders going through this base that suggest that a Wookiee is coming through in handcuffs. So what's the deal? And then also, why is this Stormtrooper shorter than most? And why is this other Stormtrooper taller than most? This is interesting. So, I do appreciate pretending to shoot around Chewie, but shooting everyone else. That was well put on them. And of course, hilariously, the Stormtrooper hitting his head on the door. That scene when they walk over to the closet and C-3PO and R2-D2 are in there. They should have done a much more thorough investigation on the droids themselves. They see the droids and they're like, you two sit here, and then they leave. And I'm like, you have unaccounted for droids that you've never seen on the Death Star, and you're just walking up and you're like, yeah, all right. You just sit tight. We'll be back.
I mean, maybe there's lots of things there that they don't know of.
Clearly, like, seriously. And when the droids...
It's a big place.
But when the droids leave, at the very least, when they're like, hey, we need to do some maintenance on this other droid, at the very least, that Stormtrooper could have radioed it in saying, hey, the droids are going to this location now. That way you can get clearance on whether or not that's allowed, because I'm sure they're all on the same comms. The original Stormtrooper who said, all right, you sit here with these droids, would have been like, negative, they're staying put, or something. But no, it's just like, all right, whatever, I'll let you pass.
It helps the movie go along.
Yeah, plot armor. It's pretty much all I got. I feel, like I said before, I really felt like after that original general was blown up in the Death Star, and Darth Vader became kind of the new general of all of the Stormtroopers, communication went up 100%. Because when the AT-ATs were attacking, they had a lot more communication in terms of where they're supposed to go and where they're supposed to fire and to keep pushing forward. And if someone says something, hey, I got this, and they're like, negative, we have to keep doing this. That didn't happen at all in A New Hope. So,
well, I mean, if you think about it, originally they didn't have like any type of what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? They weren't used to having anybody try to attack them at this point. And then once they actually realize that there is a degree of problems coming at them, they're like, oh, wait, now we have to actually talk to each other because we oopsed before.
We oopsed before. yeah, maybe we screwed up because we let all those people go and we didn't communicate at all. What they had was a massive AAR after the first movie, and they were just like, all right, what can we do to make ourselves better?
How are we gonna do better this next go round? I know we kind of lost an entire spaceship, but let's do better.
Let's do better. Yep, that's exactly right. Anyway, yeah, I don't think Single Dad will be returning because his computer conked out on him. Love him to bits, and I'm sure he would have had his 2 cents. We will be for sure bringing these same kind of questions up when it comes down to talking about the prequels and the sequels because it's in our wheelhouse. It's what we got to do. Thank you for tuning in. This was the original trilogy. Next week, check us out as we talk about the prequels. So, yay! Woo! It's gonna be awesome stuff.
I'm really sad that I'm gonna miss the new ones. I like the new ones.
You're gonna miss both because we're recording both in one night.
You guys suck.
No.
Wait, what's going on next weekend? Or next week?
Next week, because so many people are potentially not going to be here because it's closer to Thanksgiving, we're going to knock out 2 episodes.
That's still 2 weeks. We're going to do it closer to Thanksgiving. Okay, so the 21st is closer to Thanksgiving than next week is.
Correct.
Yeah, but you're saying next week people can't be here because it's close to Thanksgiving?
No. What I'm saying is that week, 21st, potentially people won't be here. So we're recording 2 episodes in 1 week. Moving on though, to close this episode out. Yes, I'll edit all this out or not. I don't know. Now you all know the behind the scenes.
This is how we talk to each other. Wait, what?
Yeah, right. Stay tuned. We'll figure things out because the holidays and everything. But make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell notification on YouTube. Subscribe on Podbean. Check us out on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, we tag and share the living hell out of fellow veterans who like to cosplay and craft. So check us out on there. Give us a follow. Give us some likes. Give us some love. And Emerald City Comic Con, we potentially, stress the word potentially because we have not been approved yet because Emerald City Comic Con decided it would be a great idea to sell tickets in October and then tell people that if they apply for a pro badge they might not be allowed to have a panel. That's what I remember reading. You can research it on your own. And it's kind of hard to not buy badges when you don't know if you're going to have your panel until December. So that'll be fun. Wait for that announcement. I'm super excited if we get our panel approved. Otherwise, we will be hosting an event, a get-together for anybody in the Seattle area or coming out to the Seattle area for military cosplayers. That's going to be awesome. And then, of course, there's WonderCon. Same deal. Not a panel, but there's going to be a meetup for sure. So I am Tom Cruise, your host. Thank you for tuning in. With me tonight was Single Dad, who his computer shut down on him. And Cosplay Jenemy swinging around.
Hey.
And a now sleepy looking J4.
I think we've lost J4 a while ago.
Toodles. As his eyes are like drifting into closure.
He's not used to this time zone anymore.
Exactly. And kids again. Actual kids, not adults that you treat like kids.
I'm better
to deal with these.
That's what I was gonna say. I'd rather deal with actual kids than adults who act like kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because you actually love one of them.
Only one?
No, one of the groups. I mean, I don't know. He could have a favorite. We don't know.
Yes, parents have a favorite. It's the one that's not pissing us off at the moment.
That's fair. Thank God I'm an only child. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the road to Star Wars. Bye!